retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience.
Hello, everybody. We are here for an emergency episode of Midnight Mindset, and boy, something happened. And that is probably an understatement saying that something happened, because the New Day went absolutely insane today. What I assume most people thought was going to be a breakup during their 10-year anniversary went a different way. So before I get into my thoughts and everything, I'm just going to say what happened. So basically, we do the 10-year anniversary. Everybody's out there, thanking their fans. And then they're like, well, we got something we need to talk about. And they're like, just know it's not your fault. And then Big E comes out, which I expected Big E to be there. I didn't have doubts that he wasn't going to be there. And I was kind of like, oh, why isn't he here when they all came out? I was expecting, them to all come out together. He may not be wrestling, but it's still the New Day. I mean, he is the New Day. He's part of it. So yeah, he comes out and he's like, I couldn't stand by any longer and seeing you guys fight, seeing you guys rip into each other. And oh boy, my mic is covering my face. I just see that now. And then I think it was like Xavier. You could see in his eyes, like when he was talking, when Biggie was talking, you could see something building in his eyes. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna go no. Like when Biggie offered to be their manager, he was gonna be like no. And I was straight up just no. And then I didn't really expect anything too much else. But it wasn't just a no. Xavier ripped into Big E. And not only Xavier did, but Kofi Kingston did. Now, I don't know. Obviously, it doesn't really matter in the scope of things. But just saying in, like, story, just thinking, like, really far into it. Like, what were they going to say? Were they going to say, like, we hate you all? We're, taking a different direction? Or were they really going to break up? And then all of a sudden, Big E's here and like, oh, we are the New Day, aren't we? But not you. Like, and basically, when I'm saying that they ripped into Big E, it was, you weren't there for us. Like, Big E's talking about all these times where they were there for him. And then he says, I'm going to be your guys' manager to be with you guys throughout this journey. And that's when they were like, you weren't there for us. You just named all these times that we were there for you, and you haven't been here for us. And the acting on Big E was incredible, because he was like, you could tell he sounded like he's about to cry, saying like, I broke my neck, which is like, yeah, it's crazy. And it's not like I could tell. I could tell that this is kind of where this was going once it started, but I had no idea. I did not think that we were going to get a New Day heel turn. And before, I'm like, okay, I guess there was some deniability in the beginning, like, okay, he's really upset, but this is just Xavier being Xavier. And then, but Kofi getting into it, things are really picking up here. And then it was just building the anger, and it was like, oh my god. And I was thinking from the creative aspect of it, like thinking how they're gonna do this creatively. I'm like, oh man, no, fans are not going to like this. People aren't going to like it. I don't like this. And, like, they showed a fan in the crowd. He's got his hands up like this. It's like the Undertaker lost a streak all over again. Like, this is a huge deal. Like, this isn't just like, previous years a tag team breaks up because the tag team breaks up. Like, this is so much story. And this is 10 years. Like, even, like, the legendary Hall of Fame tag teams haven't been around for 10 years. Like, they tag together for a few years and then show up every once in a while for like nostalgia runs. Like, this is a 10-year tag team that's been working together for 10 years, hardly apart. I mean, even when Kofi was winning the world title, he had the New Day with him. when Xavier won, King of the Ring, he had the New Day with him, by his side at least. Big E, when he won the world title, he was on a different brand than them, but he was on that pay-per-view, and they won that. He still won that with the New Day, with him on by his side and in the vicinity in the building. But this is a different story now. Like, this is not like expected at all, and obviously, it made a whole lot of sense for them to do this against Big E, but what does this mean for Big E? I genuinely don't know what we're gonna do with what's gonna happen with Big E. Like, is this building towards a Big E return? Is he gonna be a manager for somebody involved? Like, obviously, Big E has to still be in the story somehow, but how is he gonna be in the story? And I wonder if, like, in this segment, Xavier Woods was like, we got to be honest, Big E, you're never going to wrestle again. It's possible that they said that just because, there's that wonder if he's going to wrestle again. But I kind of wonder if they said that because he actually was cleared to wrestle. You know what I mean? Like, he's saying that, and the reason why that's okay for him to say maybe is because he's coming back. I mean, obviously, these guys are close, so I feel like, obviously, there's no way he was crossing a line. I'm sure, regardless, there was permission to say that line, but I just wonder if that's maybe why, thinking more of like more of the backstage reasoning behind things. Maybe that was why. Man, so many questions now. Like, I feel like so much happened in that particular segment there. 10 years. 10 years. It literally blew my mind. Like, this whole time that this has been going on, I'm like, well, there's a lot of tag teams right now that are like feuding kind of with each other, like within, the stables. Like, we got Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Sorry about that. We just had R-Truth and The Miz. We have DIY. And over at NXT, we have Axiom and Nathan Frazier. They can't all break up, right? I mean, we had Miz and R-Truth break up really kind of quick and out of nowhere almost, it felt like. I was like, they can't all break up. So, and I just kind of felt like New Day, like, maybe this is part of their story. They're gonna be against each other. They're gonna be at each other's throats. And then kind of what I was thinking was Big E was gonna come back today and kind of get them straight. And I thought that was gonna be it, but obviously that's what I thought. But a lot of me was thinking Xavier Woods was going to fully turn heel today. I was thinking he was going to be like, no, I don't, don't be our manager. And he was going to attack Big E or something like that. But what I didn't expect is this. I mean, this is basically still New Day, like the current iteration of New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, as heels. And I believe when they started, they were heels. But this is different. Like, this is just like, we've been super happy go lucky, like colorful and everything. We're heels now. And I don't know if this is the direction they're going. Maybe they're going to keep the two of them. I could see them doing like a real like Hurt Business kind of group with this, like a mean kind of group. I don't know if that's the direction. I don't know if that's what they were like at first teasing with having Odyssey Jones. Because we got to think, what was the plan for Odyssey Jones? Obviously, he's not there anymore. But I wonder if the plan was to have Odyssey Jones really be another member. And when they eventually turned heel, he would have been like a muscle of this new heel New Day. Like, I wonder if this is legitimately a new day for New Day. I mean, obviously it is, but like if there's gonna be new members, if it's just gonna be a 2-person group. Obviously, I feel like there's good arguments for both. Obviously, there's an argument because it is the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston makes sense. Now, could this be a phase? Could they get back to? Could this all just kind of be like a short time thing? You know, obviously we had Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods rip into each other pretty hard last week, and now they're cool with each other. So maybe, and maybe this is gonna be like, you know, this is just another fork of the road, and maybe the things are gonna be fine. Not next week. I don't think this is gonna blow over next week. Definitely not. And I feel like this is the most unlikely outcome, anyways. But I feel like it could happen. I mean, we've been on twists and turns in this, you know, this era of WWE anyways. So it's possible that they could still just end up getting back together and just be a little, you know, just a little story inside this whole big story of the New Day. Because I mean, you got to find something for them to do, and that could be part of it. But I feel like the more likely aspect is that they're just heels, and they are going to be heels from now on. Now, could they be heels and Big E gets back with them? I don't know. I feel like I have a feeling if Big E does wrestle again, he would come back, you know, with the New Day in a heel like aspect. But if he's not going to wrestle again, I don't know if we really want to change him to heel. But again, I don't know. I still feel like it's unlikely at this current time. But keeping them apart forever, I just don't know. I don't think that's really gonna happen. I don't know though. I really don't know. There's so many questions. I'm just kind of like thinking out loud. I didn't prepare anything. I'm just kind of thinking out loud of just things that come to my mind. But yeah, this shocked me. Yeah, this shocked me. I don't really know what else to say on this issue. Incredible storytelling. Things are on fire. Like sometimes I kind of fall back into into feeling like, oh, the weekly TV shows aren't necessarily that important anymore. Like they were really. I feel like there was so much happening in the build up to WrestleMania, but like all of a sudden this episode, like. Obviously, we have this New Day segment, which was the title of the video, the main topic of the video. But we also had Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn. Oh, sorry, glitched. Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn one-on-one today, which is clearly like it. There's so many like directions and points and places and markers and I don't even know what I'm saying. So many different directions of this bloodline story, because like we have Seth who wants to fight Punk, and now we have which it leaded up to him and Sammy fighting each other because Sammy didn't like the way that he was talking about Jay, so they had this match. Jay got attacked backstage, which I kind of have a theory. So obviously, there's the obvious answer that it could have been Bloodline. I don't think it's Seth. I don't think it's the I obviously the obvious answer would be Bloodline, but I kind of have a little thought out there that it could be the New Day. Like, obviously, they just had a super tense moment. And they're walking backstage after this. They're going to leave. And Jay, a friend of theirs, who's kind of been in this storyline towards the end lately. Just kind of briefly, just kind of as Kofi's friend, it seems like. But they're walking backstage, and they're all fired up. They're mad. And then Jay comes up to talk to him. And they start pounding him, so they start beating him down. That's possible. Like, I mean, this, if I remember correctly, that happened, that attack was like right after. So I think that this is a very possible scenario that the New Day attacked him. Now, this just brings so many other directions and everything to the story, if that's true. But I like to think that a lot of this stuff lately, it seems like a lot of stuff is connected. Like, for the most, like, a lot of the big names are connected storylines somehow. And they're doing this incredibly. I think everything has been flowing so well. Obviously, there's some down points, but I'm talking about like the big major storylines. I wouldn't say they kind of have Bloodline and Judgment Day kind of intertwine a tiny little bit because of Jay's like relationship with Rhea and Damian, but I don't know if that's really like still going on. I don't know if I don't really see Jay like saving Damian from a beatdown anytime soon. It could happen. But I just don't think that we're going to get really them side by side anymore. But the thing is we could. I mean, if it happens, it would be believable. Like, that is amazing. It really does feel like just kind of one big storyline, and it should. It's supposed to mimic real life. We don't really have stop and starts on our storylines, that doesn't really happen in real life. So why should it happen on wrestling? And that's what's going on right now. And I will say the ending of Raw, I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but going back to the Sami-Seth match, the Sami and Seth match ended with an attack from Drew McIntyre. What? And I don't understand what the attack on Sami was about, but it happened. So I don't know if Drew's just like, just wants to make an impact. He's coming, he's mad. It's just weird that it's Sami. If it was Seth, I would understand it kind of, because they had that history with that match. It kind of feels like they're just bringing in Drew to fight Sami just to have someone for Drew to fight, which is ultimately fine. Like, we could like I said, we could do the storyline that Drew's just mad and he wants to beat someone up. So that's fine. But that seems a little aimless at the moment. I mean, obviously it happened. There's always room for something to happen. There's always room to add a motive. So, next week we'll probably get a motive, I'm assuming, or even Friday at this point. The brand split doesn't really matter. There's too much. I mean, Sami Zayn, I feel like, is kind of on both brands at this current moment. So it could happen. It could happen Friday, but I don't know. Another talking point that's coming to my mind is because we had the Walter Gunther match against Dominic Mysterio, which that guy Dominic's he does have to win a match. I understand what the direction they're going with him, but he's really good. And I understand they want to make him like a cowardly guy, but I feel like if we keep treating him the way we are, that at some point the fans are going to forget that he's really good. Like, just watching him get the hell beaten out of him by Gunther it's fun, but like long-term thinking, it's not the best idea, I think. But anyways, I can kind of feel like they're building like a story between Gunther and Finn, because Finn wants that title. And we're getting that at Saturday night's main event. I didn't really have, for my like prediction for this year, I didn't really have Finn competing for it. I don't really know. I really don't have a lot of odds on him winning, which is sad. I mean, we could have him win and have it for a short time, but I don't know. I'm in that group that really wants to see Punk versus Gunther. So I don't know. I don't really know if that's what's going to happen. It could happen. I mean, Punk versus Finn would be fun too. But it looks like, if I had to guess, I think we're going to get at main event we're gonna have interference from the Judgment Day to have Finn lose the title, because obviously Finn's been ruffling feathers. I don't know. He's been stirring the pot a little bit, making people upset. Like you can tell there's definitely some tension between him and Liv, and then him and Dominic, obviously. So I don't know if we're gonna see like a full-on Judgment Day split, or we're gonna see Finn Balor kicked out. It's kind of tough because at this point, I mean, obviously, I guess it doesn't have to be. There's not really like heels and faces, but I don't really feel like Finn leaving the Judgment Day kind of benefits anybody, him or Judgment Day, because like when Rhea and Damian got kicked out, it was clear that Damian and Rhea were super popular and super loved. Like they were getting cheers, This current Judgment Day is not getting cheers. If Finn's not getting cheers and the rest of them are getting booed the same, probably maybe even more than before, I don't want to see the Judgment Day fully break up, but I don't know what the direction would be. Because, I mean, I don't really see Finn leaving or getting kicked out being much of anything. But I feel like that's kind of where the story's going. He's obviously upsetting the group enough. And I just don't think that they're going to stay. I don't think they're going to have Liv and Dom leave. Like, I mean, if we had a Judgment Day of JD, Finn, and Carlito, that would not... Like, we're going so far down the totem pole, I feel like, at that point. So I think it's either that the group is completely done, or they're going to kick Finn out, I think, is the direction they're going. Or the more logical, I feel like, steps of it. I don't want to see them break up, because I think, yeah, they're definitely not a great spot right now. I think kicking Rhea and Damian would put them in a weird spot, because it seemed like the right thing to do, but I think long term I don't know if it's the right thing to do, because Judgment Day used to be like the hottest thing going on at the time. And then like it was still popular, it still made, it still was entertaining at a point when Judgment Day was feuding with Rhea and Damian, but I don't think that's not really happening anymore. Now, I don't know if this has always been the plan to have Finn and Damian feud again, but I just don't really care. I don't really want that to happen again. I am kind of annoyed. I knew it was going to happen, but I'm annoyed that Finn screwed Damian out of the title. I want them to move on from that. I would much rather have Finn and Dominic start feuding together. And I don't know, maybe this is where we get a good showcase from Dominic. Like, Dominic is very upset by the way, Finn's been acting, the way he's treated Liv. So Dominic steps up and has a really good performance against Finn. That's possible. But I really don't want to see Damian versus Finn again. I think I was kind of out of it already by the time that they had the pay-per-view match together. I think it was Bad Blood. And I think a lot of people were too. So I just don't see that being entertaining. But I feel like there's a lot of stuff happening at the moment, and not a lot of like predictability, which is really good. A really good feeling. Like I was like watching this show, and I was thinking to myself, like, remember when a few years ago it was like the TV shows didn't even matter, and now all of a sudden it's like we had Seth versus Sami Zayn. We had Gunther defend his title. We had the New Day turning heel. We had Drew McIntyre returning. Like, things are actually happening on TV, and not every week. Sometimes we get those dull moments, but like we're getting stuff on TV now. Like the shows are actually worth watching, which is amazing. I'm really happy with how the product is going, and I think it's only going to get better the closer we get to WrestleMania. It seems like even like a lot of the stuff that the fan base was like, this is kind of the downside of Triple H's long-term booking strategy. Even that stuff seems to be paying off lately. Like the New Day thing was specifically like an example of that. Like it was getting so tiring seeing the New Day fight and like nothing was really happening. And then last week something happened big. This week something happened really big. It was an explosion of a moment. So I think everything's really paying off. How long that's going to happen, I don't know. I like to be positive about it. I think it's really good now, so I'm going to just imagine things are going to be good forever. Obviously, that's not super realistic, but that's, we got to think the way we got to think. But I rambled on enough. I didn't have really too much to talk about. I'm going to talk about the New Day. That was pretty much it. I got to ramble on. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys probably Friday. I'll try to stream again on Friday with the normal scheduled episode of Midnight Mindset. All right, see you guys next time. And I am not